Elon is just blowing my mind once again. I think that he's either trolling us or he's really out of the loop. I mean, he's a busy guy. He's got to deal with the lawsuit. He's got SpaceX, Tesla, the FAA's breathing down his neck. There's so much stuff going on in his life. I understand why he doesn't take too much time on Twitter, but yet when he does, I feel like he just makes the situation worse and just makes everything even more confusing. He was replying to an article suggesting that the Cybertruck was gonna flop, and Elon basically said, there's a chance it could flop because it's so weird and different, but I don't really care. I just love it so much that as long as I like it, I'm fine with that being on the market. Personally, I have to disagree with Elon on that one. I think that because of all of the internet traffic that is caused every time an article gets some kind of Cybertruck update, I know definitely by the amount of traffic my channel has generated via Cybertruck info, and also the crowd tracking that's been going on showing that the Cybertruck reservations are well over 1 million. Probably 50 to 60% of those are not gonna actually end up going through, but that's still hundreds of thousands of people that are super into the Cybertruck, putting reservations down on, Cyberlander concepts from companies that actually have no proof of making a real product yet. There is just so much demand for it on the internet, it's not even a joke. I don't genuinely think there's a way the Cybertruck can flop. My biggest concern is Tesla either not being able to make enough of them or not being able to get close to their originally promised pricing. Worst case scenario, Cybertruck ends up being really late and the price of it is way higher than Tesla originally thought. But even then, I could still see a ton of people being willing to buy one. So first of all, Elon, no, don't worry about it flopping. That's not going to be a problem. I'm calling him out on that because I don't want him to build his Giga Texas factory thinking, this could be a flop. A lot of people might not like this truck. No, Elon, get ready for more orders, okay? Once these things start delivering and they're actually on city streets and people start using them, orders after that, they're just gonna skyrocket again, and you're not gonna have the capacity for it. So anyway, in response to someone replying to that tweet asking about, Cybertruck update or any new information or new images he could share on the production-ready version, what we've been asking for a long time, he gave this interesting response, and the way he phrased it made me personally think that Tesla is probably not even going to provide a Cybertruck update in an earnings call or a site refresh or anything. Just because every time someone asks him about, can we get a Cybertruck update, he basically tells everyone the same thing. Yeah, the production model's basically the same as the prototype. There's not a lot of differences, just some few tweaks here and there to make it better. But then he goes on to just provide a subtle amount of information to completely blow my mind and add even more speculative nature to this video, which was essentially the main differences he's talking about with the production model is there's no door handles, which we knew, and there's rear wheel steering, which is awesome, should help with tighter turns, and I'm glad to see that's still on the board. But then he also goes off and throws in the fact that, so there's no door handles, the car just recognizes you and the doors open. Okay, Elon, this is why we would like an update, because these types of pieces of information would be a lot easier if we had someone explaining, because he essentially answers questions that leave us with more questions than answers. I was very confused when Elon said there wouldn't be door handles, because I'm like, okay, there's several ways we can go about this. They could go the Mach-E route and have a button on the center column that you push. They could all be pressure sensitive so that you push inward on the door and it opens up. There could be a little swipe touchpad similar to the Tesla Roadster that you swipe up on and that opens the door. But now Elon's saying the Cybertruck will straight up recognize us, which has us all speculating like, wait, are you just talking about, recognizing that our phone via Bluetooth is nearby? Or are you talking about facial recognition? Like the cameras on the Cybertruck that they just signed a deal with Samsung for will be able to look at us and recognize, okay, that's the owner's face. Probably not a good idea if we're gonna be wearing sunglasses or masks in the future. Like, how exactly is a vehicle able to recognize us? I know that Tesla Vision is getting really good and all that, but the current cameras are like 1.2 megapixels, so you'd have to get pretty close to the car for it to recognize you. Also, what confuses me even further is if the door opens whenever it's recognizing the owner, what about all the other passengers, right? That works for the driver, I could see that. But if there's other people walking up to the car, there's sometimes going to be pedestrians walking by that you don't want getting into the car, and there's other times where your family is walking out to the Cybertruck, and if it can see a certain number of people coming up to the doors, does it automatically know how many doors to open and how wide to open them? I'm probably jumping right to the critical side of things here. I don't mean to get that. It just sounds very problematic in my head, but the good news here that we should probably dwell on is it sounds like the Cybertruck will have self-presenting doors, similar to that of the Model X, which I I think is a hugely underrated feature that I've wanted brought to more in the Tesla lineup, and the only reason I didn't consider that an option with the Cybertruck is because it seemed to be exclusive to the Model X so far. Even the plaid Model S at $130,000, that doesn't have self-presenting doors. Model 3 definitely doesn't, Model Y definitely doesn't, and probably never will. So why then is Tesla suddenly okay with self-presenting doors on the Cybertruck? I don't know. Maybe because the exoskeleton doesn't require a paint shop, so there's some manufacturing efficiencies, you know, 4680s are cheaper to build or whatever. So they were able to recoup some of that savings and put it into the motors that make the doors automatically open themselves. But I think the reason Tesla's been hesitant to bring that to more vehicles is that on the Model X, they had to put some pretty complicated ultrasonic sensors in those doors to measure the distance between the vehicle and its surroundings to make sure your door doesn't just open up and completely hit itself really hard against your surroundings. Maybe Tesla's anticipating that the ultrasonic sensors and Tesla Vision will be so good that they won't need those ultrasonic sensors to measure the distance, and if you're in a tight space, the Cybertruck will just open the doors enough so that people can get out, but not too much. We also don't know if the self-presenting door is maybe just for the driver or if it also counts for the other passengers, but if he's simply saying no door handles, door will open by itself, I take that as a self-presenting door mechanism, similar to the Model X. I'm just wondering how the Cybertruck is going to exactly know how many doors to open with how many people are getting close to the car and when to not open for strangers. You know, if I had the Cybertruck parked on the side of the street or something like that and I was driving myself, so there was no other doors needed to open, but someone else in the parking lot is walking by, so the Cybertruck sees that person and thinks, oh, he must be bringing someone with them. So, you know, my phone wakes up the car as I walk up to the truck and the driver door opens up, and then the other side opens up because it sees someone walking by, and now I have to remind the truck, hey, close that door too. It just sounds very complicated, and I don't exactly know how Tesla is going to address not having a button or not having a trackpad or not having a push sensitivity option. But I am happy that at least from this tweet, he's alluding to the Cybertruck having self-presenting doors, which if you're just used to driving yourself and that's about it, that's pretty cool. And if you're using it for regular driving, maybe there's a way to remember certain phones. So if you're always driving with the truck and your wife, maybe the truck will recognize that, okay, you know, the owner's phone is here and another phone that I have registered is here. I detect both of them, so I open two doors. It just sounds like a giant headache in the software department, and I would love some clarification on this, but because Elon just keeps saying, yeah, there doesn't need to be an update, you know, it's pretty much like the prototype. You've seen the prototype images, that's what the production model is like. I just hope that means that the production model Cybertruck isn't too much smaller. I know that there have been talks going back and forth whether or not they're going to make it 3% smaller or not. I know there were tweets where Elon said, actually, it will be pretty much the exact same size, but later on he went on the Joe Rogan podcast and said that they want to make it a little smaller for the Boring Company. For some reason, maybe they're going to make some Boring Company vessels on the Cybertruck platform that can fit more people because you don't need a bed for the Boring Company. But I'm upset but excited simultaneously because this probably means that we're not going to see an updated Cybertruck image until like a month or two before deliveries begin, and we still don't know what they're going to do with side view mirrors, windshield wipers, and now we don't exactly know how the door system works other than there's supposed to be some kind of recognition and auto opening feature, which sounds really cool. And Tesla's pretty smart, they're usually ahead of the game, so I hope there's some type of smart, intelligent way it knows exactly how to handle these doors. But I would absolutely love to hear all of your guys' theories on how the Cybertruck's going to work down below. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.